Well, final week of the regular season is upon us. To be quite frank, in reference to last week, I knew Wilson had to lose at one point at home, but the ride sure was great. Can't win forever at home. Had to happen sometime. I knew Arizona was a great team. Feared they might pull off the upset, which they did, and albeit with some help from the refs. And I hear all you fucking 49er fans saying stuff like, oh, typical Hawk fans, always finding a way to complain when you lose. Either you were blind or you were busy sucking your boyfriend's dicks. That only applies to the 49er fans. Gay USA, as they call San Francisco. Because clearly you could see the black plastic specks that artificial turfs have, notifying when a ball hits the ground just for reasons like what happened. And what do you guys have to say when not only we make a fuss about it, but also what about the analysts, and especially Mike Pereira that they brought in when the review was being looked at. Even he said the call was horrific after they upheld it. He is a near 30-year experience with rulings and being a ref. I know damn well you fuckheads would be bitching if it had happened to you. Hell, I still hear you complain about the holding from last year's Super Bowl. At least our coach doesn't have a stroke every time a flag gets thrown in the game. I just have one question. If the Cardinals can beat us at home, what's going to happen to you 49er bitches when you play them on Sunday? And if you think about it, since they beat us at home, that just means they're better than San Francisco. Since they can't do shit when San Francisco comes up to Seattle. Just look at the last two times, 42-13 and 29-3. Alright, enough of that. On to this week. The Rams come up to Seattle for the third time in the last 4 years to close out the season. Rams are hoping to close out the season at 500, while we need this to firmly secure home field. While you gave us a close game last time we met in St. Louis, coming down to the final play, we are at home. Even last week we managed 4 interceptions and almost about 5 sacks in the loss. So, yeah, less than I actually got 200 total, 300 total yards, but yeah, 150 yards passing. So that's why our defense is so good against the pass. It's too bad we couldn't do shit on offense. That will not be the case this week. You might have sacked Wilson 7 times earlier this year, but we will have our entire offensive line. Seeing how Wilson was in the film room at 4:30 in the morning after the loss, he's going to be on point and lead us to the promised land this Sunday. First matchup I have is going to be Wilson versus the defense. Last week was one of his worst games in his first 2 years in the league. I have no fear, and my confidence has never faded in him within those 2 years. All those close games we have been in this year has all been in preparation for moments like this. The past 15 games between the Rams and the Hawks have won 13 of them. 9 in a row at home as well against the Rams. Nobody said it would be easy, obviously, since the NFC West is the best conference in football. Not like that NFC East. Second matchup is going to be the Hawk defense versus the Ram offense. You guys might have run all over us last time, but since then, we have given up the least amount of rush yards out of any team. There will be no 200 yards rushing this time. Obviously, our pass defense, which has been the best all year long, will play a big role this game. We have had 9 interceptions the past 2 weeks. Going up against a backup quarterback, probably have a good shot at least getting 3 or 4. Would love to see Sherman get his total up to 10 interceptions on the year. Like usual, our pass rush will be dominant, especially since the stakes are so high. And so I can't see more than 260 yards of total offense being given up this game. Finally, the last matchup of the game and regular season I have is how many false starts can the 12th man create. The place will be bonkers and super loud. About as loud as when we broke the noise record both times, if not louder. I would like to see the penalties from the false starts factor into the outcome of the game, but hopefully with the blowout we're going to have, that won't be the case. Oh, and one more thing. 2 records could be broken in this game. We can't allow more than 24 yards in punt returns to break the record for least amount of punt return yards in a single season, set back in 2008 by Atlanta. And also, if any of you watching this can find a source, seeing if another team has you know ever held opponents scoreless on their opening drives in an entire season, let me know. I can't seem to find one, but I'm pretty sure I don't think it's ever been accomplished before, at least not that I can recall. And I have a pretty good memory when it comes to football and stuff, records, especially with Seahawks being involved. And if we hold the Rams scoreless on their opening drive, that record will belong to us, if not already tied. Pretty sure it hasn't happened in a 16-game season. So all in all, it's been an epic year, not just for the Hawks, but also for all the other teams. Many great moments, along with not so great moments for all the teams. My final prediction for the game is going to be Seattle 35 and the Rams 6. The Hawks will be on another level that I just don't think the Rams will be able to get on. So hopefully I will see you all in 2 weeks when the playoffs come through Seattle. Until then, take care, YouTube.